Okay, we are back in, everybody.
Okay, please. Let's go to the last paragraph on page 4, I believe. Yes.
This?
No, the previous this thing.
Okay.
Where you have sentence 1.
Sentence 1.
Just scroll down, please.
Okay.
Yes.
This.
So please. Now, the person who asked the question about fiction writing, you can read that.
And then I'm going to take more. Sorry, Kayode. Sorry.
Hello, okay.
Oh, yes, I'm going to also dwell a little on that tomorrow. So
okay.
Get this book that Mr. Kayode is saying, it's mentioning, and then just get ready for tomorrow's class too.
Okay.
I hope every question you have will be answered. Thanks. That's it. Continue, please.
I can't hear you, please.
I said we should continue. I'm done. I said I'm going to touch on fiction writing also tomorrow.
Okay.
And then, of course, by God's grace, yes, I'm going to touch on what this person is asking. I think right. So it's okay. What you have sent, I think you said she should go through something, right?
Yes, you should read something.
She can still read it. She can still read it, but then I'm still going to touch on that aspect tomorrow too.
Okay.
Yeah. Continue, please.
Please, I will advise that we mute ourselves so that Mr. Ajomole can continue with us.
Okay, please read what I have on sentence 1, please.
Okay. Sam moved slowly down the stairs of the apartment building. He walked across the street and climbed into his car. He turned the ignition key and put the car in gear. Then he pulled out into Maple Street traffic. When he reached Wider Avenue, he took a left and drove for 3 blocks. At Warren Street, he waited for a red light and seemed to take forever. Finally, he got onto Carver. You could see the Bethany Church up ahead.
Okay, please read sentence 2. Just scroll down.
Okay. The second sentence, okay. Unless something important happened to Sam while driving his car.
Just read sentence 2.
Okay, Sam drove to church.
Now,
is that it?
If you read sentence 1, all the writer is trying to describe, which is important anyways.
Okay.
Particularly if you're writing fiction, it's more of a descriptive writing, and you're trying to engage both. You're trying to engage almost all the senses, the eyes, the ears, and all of that. Very important. Now, the second sentence now says, Sam drove to church. Because that's the action that the reader wants to read. Now, is it bad to put in a lot of details when writing? Not bad, but it can get unnecessarily frivolous, especially when there is too much description without the necessary detail for the reader to latch on is missing. Now, having read Sam moved slowly down the stairs of the apartment building, he walked across the street and climbed into this car, turn the ignition key, and put the car in gear. If you continue to write like this, you're going to write almost a 60,000 novel, and the most important part of the novel will not be more than 2,000. And so there's a balance to it. While it's important for you to describe, particularly if you have a word count in terms of maybe you're writing something as long as 10,000 words or 5,000 words, you should, as much as possible, stay within the limits of what you think is important for the reader to understand. Sam drove to church is appropriate, particularly if you're writing a very short essay or a very short article that you don't have time for too much description. If you're writing fiction, you can include what is in sentence 1, but some details also should not be included, because you've only tried to describe to us, you've only tried to describe to us how Sam got to church. No action happened in between. We don't necessarily need to know what is happening Widening Avenue. You didn't tell us maybe if we were standing there or what was happening there, to at least put a bit of action in between that. You were just trying to describe that motion, which sometimes might be boring. Please, am I communicating?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's like basically all that we need to learn as far as this is concerned. It's the summary of this is be as simple as possible. 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 Be as simple as. Now, if you read certain novels like Don Grisham, who is trying to describe, who writes a lot of law novels. Now, you will notice that although he uses descriptive writing, which sometimes, like I said, it is context dependent on what you are trying to write and why you are writing it. Very, very important. Because largely, when you're trying to describe something, you must at least look at 2 or 3 senses and pick. When I say senses, I'm referring to sense organs now, the taste, the sight, the hearing, and all of that, and pick at least 1 or 2 that really, really nips the situation on the board, instead of just writing, describing unnecessary things and things like that. And there is also what is called, I think, the ladder of inquisition, in the sense that when you're writing, you focus more on the facts, describe more of the facts before describing the emotions. Because if you describe too much emotion without describing the fact, you are likely to be writing, how do I put it now? You're likely to be writing to, let me say babies. I don't want to use that word, but I can't find the right word now. You're likely to be writing to babies. So as much as possible, describe the facts before the emotions. That's like what I would say. Please, is this clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I would have loved that we had a few assignments, because really, for me, I don't like teaching writing in terms of, because I don't think writing can be taught in that sense. I know that you can get information, but I know that the best way to learn writing is to write. And the best way to learn writing is to write and get feedback. Because the truth is, having listened to this class now, I won't be surprised if you are not able to put everything into practice at once. But it will make a lot of sense if after this class, you get a bit of work to do. Maybe the editor gives you work to do to focus on the things you have learned, so that over time you have mastered it. Over the next 1 week, you're just writing simple sentences. You get a lot of complicated sentences to rewrite until you are able to master simplicity as much as possible.
Okay.
Is this okay? Is this clear?
Yes, very clear.
Okay.
Very
Let's
clear.
quickly move on to paragraphs. I won't stay long on that because it's very straightforward.
Paragraphs.
Paragraphs should be.
Okay.
Yes, you have I was saying to you.
You mean this?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, this, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I've made it this much. The core of the message is not exactly much, but because somebody might need to use this material sometimes later, or you just need to just pull it out and you can use it to teach somebody else. So I'm not going to define what the paragraph is, or my focus in this class on topic sentences. Topic sentences basically, and this is very important, because I write my kind of writing. I write a lot for what I would call for people to grade. I write a lot of graded writing. I do a lot of graded writing. So I don't just, my writing is not just writing for the blog, because sometimes when you're writing to an audience who don't understand writing, they can only say that, oh, wow, you write very well. And, oh, I like your writing. Like this, but they can't help you improve. They just kind of like tell you you're doing well. When you write for professors, it means that the professor looks at it and tells you, oh, this is good, but there should be an introduction here. There should be a comma here. There shouldn't be an apostrophe here. It helps you better in how you structure your work. So my kind of writing is, yes, I write for blogs and other organizations, but I write a lot of graded writing in the sense that I get a lot of feedbacks. And so one of the things I've found that makes writing, whether you're writing fiction or non-fiction, topic sentences are very, very important. What's a topic sentence? Basically, it's the first sentence in every paragraph that explains the context of the paragraph. It is the first sentence in every paragraph. Now, sometimes this is not like you have to now be as mechanical as possible that you now start thinking of how do I include topic sentences in every paragraph? No, but as much as possible, ensure that you include a topic sentence in every paragraph. The idea is it will explain to the reader what you're trying to say. Now, the question is, are you saying that the reader understands topic sentences? Now, the reader does not need to understand what topic sentence is. But don't forget that writing is like you're trying to build a house. You're putting a block upon block. You're trying to paint. You're putting one layer upon the other. Now, the reader doesn't necessarily understand grammar and structure, especially if you're writing some readers who are not English freak. But the reader understands process. The reader understands structure. So, for example, you're trying to write that a particular chap is trying to go to the toilet. And you start from, he went to the toilet and he came back to sit down. And he sat down, he went upstairs, he went to the toilet. Yes, the information is not clear. And the reader feels like, what is he trying to say? So that means you start from, he stood up, went to the door, opened the door, excuse me, and he went to the toilet. So it's very, very important. So please scroll down. Please scroll down, just go down. just go down. I have put some, okay, that's it now. That sentence that is in italics.
Okay.
Yes.
Scientists.
Now look at it.
Okay.
Please read. Thank you.
Scientists have learned to supplement the sense of sight in numerous ways. In front of the tiny pupil of the eye, they put a Mont Paloma, a great monocle 200 inches in diameter, and with it see 2,000 times farther into the depth of space. Or they look through a small pair of lenses arranged as a microscope into a drop of water or blood. And magnify by as much as 2,000 diameters the living creatures there, many of which are among man's most dangerous enemies. Or if we want to see distant happening.
It's okay, Mr. Sampson. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Now notice that the first sentence introduced the other parts of the paragraph. It tells you what this paragraph is going to be about. That is what a topic sentence is. It tells you what this paragraph is going to be about. What this paragraph is going to be about. Now, by the time you read all the paragraphs put together, you will see that it's simply explaining the topic sentence. So the topic sentence is like a topic within a topic. So you're writing on the stars. Each paragraph should have at least what it's trying to describe, so that the reason why you should do that is because so that you will know what you are trying to explain, and you know what you are trying to get the reader to. Because sometimes people just write, and by the time you read it, they think is that the amount of information you want the reader to get is probably too much, or is not in an orderly form. So say, for example, you want to write a simple article on love, and you want to cover just 4 themes. Write out your topic sentence. What will each paragraph cover? Then write the article based on those topic sentences. In cases when you find that a topic sentence cannot be covered in another paragraph, you write concluding the second paragraph, but make sure that you do not have more than 2 ideas in a single paragraph. It's very important, because the whole idea of a paragraph is to pass 1 or 2 information within the body of sentence. That's very, very, very important. Now, these things look simple. Like I said, the reader might not understand, but because I know that we are writers and we intend to be writers really, not people who just want to write for the sake of fun. You intend to make your writing global and pitch to editors abroad and get some gigs. These are some little things that you need to pay attention to that will help you become a standard writer, because really, grammar is everywhere. Anybody who's not a writer can understand grammar. If you can pick up a dictionary, pick up some English textbooks, you will understand it. But anybody can write well. So these are simple things you need to learn. So today we've learned about the simplicity of your writing. Very, very important. Writing should be simple. Secondly, I've also taught that as much as possible, remove any fluff. By fluff, I mean things that sounds interesting to you, but really is not important. That is, if you remove from the sentence or the article or the fiction or the story, will the story still make sense? The other part I've said today is I've talked about, thank you, topic sentences and the need to not have more than 2 ideas covered in a paragraph. The last thing I want to talk about is the last slide. Please, can you go to lesson 5, I believe?
Lesson 5.
Yes, that's lesson 5 now.
Okay.
This is more of practice, but I'll just because sometimes even the editor can miss it. But I want us to let me go through it and see where we can start from. Okay, let's start from. Okay, yes. Look at this now. Look at adverbs.
Adverbs. Yeah.
Now look at the first one I highlighted green. I said, don't tell us that he shouted loudly. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, we can.
Don't tell us that he shouted loudly. Shout connotes loudness. Now, this is common to fiction writing. I was trying to explain the other time when some people try to use a lot of adverb to describe action. We are trying to be unnecessarily descriptive. So really, the idea of shouting is that you're already shouting. Can somebody be shouting and can somebody shout and be whispering at the same time? No. The idea of shout is already loud. So remove the loud. It's not important. It's poor writing. Don't write that someone clenched his feet tightly. There's no other way to clench your fist. It is tightly. Do you understand what I'm trying to say at all?
Yes.
Do we understand?
Yes, sir, we do. I understand.
You are the only person who understands. I need to be sure that everybody understands. Does every other person understand? Okay, I do. Okay. Okay. So what I'm basically trying to say is, still on that simplicity, remove the fluff. When you say that somebody was heavily flabbergasted, well, it's not necessary. Because the idea of flabbergasted is that somebody was heavily surprised. So remove heavily. Flabbergasted is enough. When you scroll down, okay, let's scroll down to common blunders to avoid. Common blunders to avoid. Like I said, this one is a lot of practice anyways, because sometimes even me, I miss some of these things. But, so let's read it together. A common blunder is the use of a singular verb form in a relative clause, following one of or a similar expression when the relative is the subject. Now, one of the loveliest ladies who has lived in that house, the right who have lived in that house. Now, always remember that the use of a singular verb after a relative clause is not correct, especially when the relative clause is a subject. In this case, one of the loveliest ladies who has lived with us in that house. One of the loveliest ladies who have lived in that house. So because of the loveliest lady, which is the subject, you need to change it to have, of course, which is plural. One of those people who is never ready on time. One of those people who are never ready on time. Now, it's easier to say that one of those people who is never ready is singular, but don't forget that the subject is plural. One of those people who are never ready on time is the best answer. Like I said, this takes a lot of practice and a lot of intentionality to, imbibe this into your writing. The second one is use a singular verb form after each, either, everyone, everybody, neither, nobody, someone. Everybody thinks he has a unique sense of humor. Although both clocks strike cheerfully, neither keep, you can say keep, but it's not correct. A singular verb keeps good time. The third one, when you're using none, ensure that the plural, the singular, use a singular verb. None of us are perfect. The correct one is none of us is perfect. Particularly, now notice, I want to show you something. If you look at example 2 and example 4, there's something almost similar there. No, 3 and 4 rather. Example 3 and example 4. You see that in the first one says that with none, use the singular verb when the word means no one or not one. Look at example 4. A plural verb is commonly used when none suggests more than one thing. Now, in this sentence, you probably say that because I said none is so fallible. No, none are so fallible as those that suggest to you that you are referring to more than one person. A common error you find in number 5 is Blake and myself stayed home. Blake and I stayed home. Howard and yourself brought the lunch, I thought. Howard and you brought lunch. Howard and you brought the lunch. Please, is this simple? Is this clear enough to us?
Yes. I think I'm getting them. But this will take a lot of personal study to learn these principles.
Like I said, this will take a lot of personal effort to introduce into your and check it very well.
Yes.
Now, look at this one. That is number 6, participial phrases.
Okay.
A participial phrase of a sentence must refer to the grammatical subject. That is, walking slowly down the road. He saw a woman accompanied by 2 children. I explained it down. The word walking there refers to the subject of the sentence. That is the child, not the woman. So if you look at the sentence, it says, walking slowly down the road. He saw a woman accompanied by 2 children. The sentence looks as though the walk there is referring to the children, to the woman, not to the child. To the child and not to the woman. But this writer wants to make the child the subject of that discussion. So better put, he should rewrite it and say, he saw a woman accompanied by 2 children walking slowly down the road. Do you understand this at all?
Yes, I do. I think the issue here is arrangement of words, arrangement of sentences. Hello. Hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello.